The moderate liberal who probably will wind up representing the district in Congress next year is Jim Mattox, the 33-year-old two-term state representative who virtually buried former Dallas Mayor Wes Wise in the Democratic primary this spring. The best-known conservative in the race is Republican Nancy Judy, who has been on the Dallas School Board for 4 years. She says Alan Steelman asked her to run in the 5th District after Steelman decided to vacate his congressional seat to make a run for the U.S. Senate. A third candidate, also a conservative, is American Party hopeful Sam McDonnell, who says he would work to dismantle large portions of the federal government, cut off all foreign aid, and help small business.
I'm the only one of the three that's ever had experience running my own business, which I did for 9 years in the district. We got a lot of small businessmen in the district. They need some help. The government's biting them.
During a debate among the three at Eastfield Community College 3 weeks ago, it became obvious that Mattox has trimmed the rather liberal sails that he demonstrated in the Texas legislature. Thus, Mrs. Judy tried to paint him as a lackey for organized labor, from whom he has gotten quite a bit of campaign money.
Taken into consideration the fact that out of the $27,000 that he received in the Democratic primary race, $19,000 of it came from out-of-state labor.
But Mattox says he hasn't made up his mind on such issues as whether to allow common-sided picketing, which labor wants. And he had this to say about the state's right-to-work law.
I think that the people in my district are in favor of keeping the right-to-work law, and I think that that's a proper response for them, and I will abide by their wishes and their decisions.
He made a token gesture to the people of our congressional district when he supposedly disclosed his financial holdings. All he did was Xerox a copy of last year's income tax form and stick it in his brochure. You would have to have a microscope in order to even be able to read it.
Well, let me give you an example of the distortion that just took place. Like on this financial disclosure, she said what I did was Xerox a copy of my income tax return and put it in my brochure. If you will look there in the brochure, they're up here at the front, you see that's only very symbolic, because what I did, provide full and complete copies of my income tax returns, not for 1 year, but for the last 6 years, ever since I've been in public life.
During the closing weeks of the campaign, Mrs. Judy has made a perhaps more successful issue of the fact that Mattox has avoided several invitations to appear on the same podium with her.
He has canceled our appearances together, and he refuses to appear with me on the press club hot seat.
Well, that's absolutely foolish. Since I think July the 4th, this is our 19th or 20th joint appearance, and I just can't be everywhere everybody wants me to be.
Mattox, who has a reputation for being hot-headed, has in this race been almost a picture of calm, except for an occasional excess.
You know, when we grow up as youngsters, our parents teach us to love everybody and want to be friends with everybody. And the first thing that happens when you get into politics, you got a bunch of vicious people jumping on you and chasing after you and saying nasty things.